Aaron Rodgers said what? Oh boy. Let's get into it.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Paul Esden Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your freaking podcast. Welcome to a Friday. We're on the precipice of the weekend, and oh boy, it's December 6th. So if you guys haven't hopped on those gifts yet for Christmas, you may want to do so. Speaking of gifts in the gifting mood, our Boy Green emoji contest continues this month. Every membership you gift will enter you into the contest for a custom emoji. Whoever gifts the most emojis at the end, or gifts the most memberships, gets a custom emoji at the end of the month created by Snowball. And every 5 memberships you gift will result in a raffle ticket that helps you out with our Jets surprise giveaway, which has all kinds of cool Jets merch. And again, we're giving back during this time of year. So you guys can gift a membership. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that little money sign. Final option, gift channel memberships. If that option is unavailable to you because you have iPhones or anything of that nature, you can super chat the money in and enter it that way. Again, memberships are $2.99 a month. So you have to, obviously, if you beep, boop, bop the math there, if you super chat in $15, you'll have a chance at that raffle ticket. So, folks, make sure you guys get involved. We'd love to see it. But let's get into it for today's show, today's program. And Aaron Rodgers at his media availability. I had to get back to this because we were getting into the head coaching rumors and all that stuff, but oh boy. Well, of course, there's been a narrative, there's been discussion, and quite frankly, report from Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network. We also have a full article in the YouTube description down below that said that if Aaron Rodgers wants any chance of returning in 2025, he has to play quite well down the final 5 games of this season. And Aaron Rodgers was asked for his take on that report, and Aaron Rodgers seemed to get a few things off his chest.
They had said something like maybe you guys can change the vibes or prove something in these last 5 games. Do you look at this as an opportunity to maybe make your case to stay? I know it's kind of ridiculous given your resume, but
I think it is ridiculous, with all due respect. If they want me to stay, fantastic. If it takes these 5 games, maybe they don't know what I bring to the table. But that being said, I'd love to play really friggin' well the last 5 games.
Now, if you couldn't hear the question, Aaron Rodgers took a word the reporter said, and reporters do this. It's very, very sneaky. We try to get people to parrot a word. And what I mean by that is this. Okay, here's the scenario. Aaron Rodgers at the podium. I'm the media reporter in the crowd. I'm like, hey, Aaron, how disappointing of a loss was this for the Jets right after the game? And Aaron just heard the word disappointing. He's like, yeah, it was pretty disappointing. And then, Rodgers described the loss as disappointing. Now, did he? Well, yes, at the podium he did say that word, but I fed him that word. So you just heard that from the reporter, or maybe you didn't because the volume was low. But the reporter says, do you feel like you have something? Devontae said something earlier. Do you feel like you got something to prove? I guess it is kind of ridiculous considering your resume. And Aaron carries it, says, actually, it is kind of ridiculous, if I'm being honest with you. And actually, I've got we have like I said, the full article down in the YouTube description down below. I can just read you the transcript verbatim. I think it is ridiculous, with all due respect. If they want me to stay, fantastic. If it takes these 5 games, maybe they don't know what I bring to the table. But that being said, I'd love to play really freaking well the final 5 games. Aaron Rodgers, and I want to make this painfully clear. He is a first ballot Hall of Famer, and nothing, absolutely nothing he does here with the Jets is going to change that. If he had great success, it would only enhance what he had. If he had middling success, whatever. He already accomplished all there is to accomplish there in Green Bay. So to me, I always thought this was a win-win for Rodgers. If he wins in New York, he'll be an even greater legend than he is. And if he loses in New York, well, another guy failed to try to turn this ship around. That's how I look at it, personally. But the fact of the matter is that Aaron Rodgers absolutely has something to prove through the final 5 games, and his resume is why he was acquired in the first place, but that means nothing now. Aaron needs to show that he's got some chutzpah left, because Aaron Rodgers is in the middle of one of his worst statistical seasons he has ever had. That is the blunt truth about Aaron Rodgers. That is the uncomfortable truth. The uncomfortable truth is that Rodgers is not the same player was 10 years ago, and he's not the same player was even in back-to-back MVP years in 2020 and 2021. He's on pace to throw 11 interceptions this season. That'd be only the 4th time in his 20-year career he's thrown double-digit picks in a season. Rodgers' 6.3 yards per attempt is the lowest mark of his career. He's not pushing the ball downfield. Aaron Rodgers is old. There's been no sign of improvement. He's banged up. And I've mentioned this throughout the week, and it's the honest truth that is particularly alarming that Rodgers didn't look fresh outside of mobility, which, again, he was running around at the beginning of the game. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about accuracy. It's alarming that he didn't feel rejuvenated and wasn't able to hit his receivers, because that is the prerequisite. That is the number one job of a quarterback, from what I understand, is being able to get the ball from your hands to the receiver's hands. And Rodgers, unfortunately, has not been able to do that on a consistent enough basis, and that reared its ugly head in this game. So Aaron says he has nothing to prove. Now, I will say this. While it appears, at least to me, extremely unlikely that Rodgers is returning in 2025, that epitaph has not been written. We don't know who the hell the head coach and general manager are going to be. A funny moment during this Rodgers presser that was less serious than this, a reporter asked, hey, Rodgers, has anyone in the building told you they want you back? And Rodgers pauses for a second and kind of thinks. And he's like, sure, yeah. Yeah, people have. Now, none of the people that are making that decision, and then the room burst out into laughter. But while funny, and that was a funny moment, it's true. Jeff Oberg, yeah, I want him back. Okay, well, you're not going to be here, so your opinion doesn't mean bupkis. Random teammates, yeah, I'd love you back. They don't make that decision. So the fact of the matter is his epitaph has not been written because we have no idea who the head coach is. Now, I'm not trying to wish this on anybody. If they hired Mike McCarthy, let's just say. Mike McCarthy, Aaron Rodgers, maybe they're back together. So we don't know. I don't want Mike McCarthy. Let me make that clear. But that's the point. We don't know who the head coach is. We don't know who the general manager is. And the other factor in the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes is what is behind door number 2. Like, again, based on the things I've seen, I kind of want to explore door number 2. But still, door number 2 doesn't appear to be sexy. Sam Darnold, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, Mac Jones, a rookie quarterback, maybe if you're picking high enough. Like, door number 2 is a mystery, a big mystery. Door number 1 is becoming less of a mystery. There's no mystery anymore. I know they keep saying, well, Aaron is affected by the injuries. Well, at the beginning of the season, we only saw it in spurts. The drive, as I get made fun of a lot on Twitter for the drive, I called it, against the 49ers. And well-deserved. I was an idiot. I'll address that. But, it's less of a mystery because I think we just know, so this 41-year-old man, this old man out there, that's Aaron Rodgers. Oh, I see. That's less of a mystery. That's more factual. That's more just information. Oh, well, I see. So while Aaron feels disrespected by the comments of, he's like, if they don't know what I bring to the table, maybe, or if they think they need these final 5 games to determine whether I should be back, maybe they don't know what I bring to the table. A little sass from Aaron Rodgers. And I hope he uses it, because here, let me break a wall here, okay? I'm in a fantasy football matchup. Now, I'm in the playoffs. The final week of the regular season is this week in Yahoo Fantasy Football land. And I have Lamar Jackson. He's on a bye, so I have to play somebody. But if I win, I get the bye and the number 1 seed in my fantasy football playoffs. I am trusting Aaron Rodgers. I'm putting Aaron Rodgers into the starting lineup to replace Lamar Jackson with a bye on the line. There is a lot of stakes on the line in this league. Because if I lose, I could fall into the 4-5 range. Then you're playing a first-round matchup, and all hell breaks loose. Okay? So, hey, but playoffs are weird. Just like any game is weird. People beat random opponents any given Sunday, So I want that bye. And I am trusting Aaron Rodgers. I'm hoping these angry comments by Aaron Rodgers motivates that old bastard to sling it around out there. Because, folks, we'll get into some injury report stuff later, but Breece Hall ain't looking good. We'll see Jeff Ulbrich this morning. Maybe there'll be another surprise where Breece Hall looked really questionable last week, and then Friday had a great practice, and we're like, oh, wow, Breece is great. But Sauce Gardner looks like he's going to be out. Breece Hall looks like he's going to be out, and there may be others. Like, which, like I said, we could probably do on the show tomorrow, but about why that could be good news for Braylon Allen. I'd love to see what the kid has. We haven't seen him a lot this season in consistent spurts, but yeah, this Jets team might be missing some pieces, which might mean to say Aaron might be time for Aaron to start slinging the old pigskin around. But boy, yeah, Aaron was quite disrespected apparently by the thought that he has something to prove, which, quarterbacks should have some level of confidence, they should have some extra chutzpah that we don't understand. But what are we talking about here? Let's go to Taylor Sterling here. Can we compare Aaron Rodgers' stats to Mahomes? Sure. Okay. Let's pull up stats. Aaron Rodgers stats. All right. I got those in front of me here. Okay, let's go to Patrick Mahomes, who I know is having an awful season, but sure, just for giggles, let's go to old Patrick Mahomes. All right. Okay, I got him here. So, okay. They have the same amount of passing touchdowns. Mahomes has 2 more picks. He has 300 more passing yards than Aaron Rodgers. Wow. Patrick Mahomes, I thought he was having a shitty season, and he is in a lot of respects. He's having a much better year than Aaron. He is completing 68% of his passes. Aaron Rodgers only completing 62% of his passes, which would, by the way, this shitty 62% completion percentage is the worst completion percentage he's had in 5 years. So that's not particularly interesting. So Patrick Mahomes has more passing yards, and they haven't been passing the ball a lot. Yeah, they have the same amount of passing touchdowns. Now, Mahomes edges him out in interceptions, but if we're being honest, Aaron's gotten lucky on a few balls that could have, should have, would have been intercepted. So, Taylor, I thought when I brought up your comment, I thought there's going to be a lot of dunking here. Like, look, see, let's really compare things. Patrick's is having a better year statistically. So I thought it was going to go the other way. Taylor Sterling says that isn't much better. But Patrick Mahomes is a weird line to draw, Taylor, because Patrick Mahomes has been terrible this year. So, that isn't much better, but, that's a weird line to draw. Mahomes having an off year. I don't know if it's a good, ha-ha, see, Aaron's doing great. I don't know if Aaron's doing great. I think Aaron's doing not good. The fact of the matter is, he is having an off year by a lot of measures. Like I said, the completion percentage is the worst in 5 years. That yards per attempt, that passing yards per attempt, which is basically indicating of deep shots and making plays, and it's the lowest of his entire career. He's been in the NFL for 20 years, and it's the lowest number. That just seems wild, man. Yeah, Chiefs have a really good defense, of course. Yes, absolutely. Taylor Sterling says team wins. That is my point. I'm not sure I understand. Again, I think Aaron Rodgers has done a lot of padding of stats. He's had, I don't know about this on Mahomes. Aaron Rodgers had multiple games this season where he's had 30 or 40 yards passing in the first half. What's the explanation for that? There isn't one. I don't know, man. I don't know. Aaron Rodgers, again, has had multiple games where he's had 30 or 40 yards passing in the first half, which is inept to the greatest level, and these padded stats in the second half. Taylor says, I'm not saying Aaron has been good. I'm saying Casey has played better, so we aren't killing Pat. Right. Well, Aaron's had the ball in his hands 5 times this season to win games, and he's lost them all. So that would be on Aaron. Again, I'm not saying everything's on Aaron. There was a kicker that sucked for a long time that we didn't replace. But there is a lot on Aaron. He's the quarterback. And again, this is just how it works, baby. You get maybe too much of the credit and too much of the blame, but that's what playing quarterback is. So, yeah. Sure, right. If you win games, it puts lipstick on the pig. Absolutely. I don't think a lot of us go, oh, wow, look at this Chiefs team. Watch out. But they just know how to win ball games. The Jets know how to lose ball games. They consistently claim defeat from the jaws of victory. The Jets have done that all season long and, quite frankly, throughout their history. Yeah, I think anyone that just looks at Aaron Rodgers' raw box score stats and says insert this or insert that, I don't think that passes the eyeball test at all. I think Aaron has not looked nearly as good as his stats say at all in any regard. And like I said, there are multiple numbers you could pick from the full season that has happened. You've had the full season of things, and then you've also had the other statistics for Aaron in games where we're talking about that. Taylor Sterling says he had the ball after the D gave up the lead. That still means the ball was in his hand. He's Aaron bleeping Rodgers. What do we mean? Why are we making excuses for Aaron Rodgers about not being able to win games 5 times? That seems like a pretty good sample size. 5 times this season, he's had moments to win the game for the Jets, and he's lost them all. Vikings game, he threw a back-breaking interception at the end. The Bills game, he threw an interception at the end. Again, there are other factors. The Bills game, Greg Zuerlein missed 2 field goals. Yeah, that was a factor, of course. But despite that, Aaron still could have won the game, and then we had the whole red line business. So, yeah, I don't know, man. The quarterback is responsible for what happens and transpires. Let me put it this way. Aaron isn't Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow this year, we want to talk about stats. Let's pull up old Joey B. Okay, let's pull up Joe Burrow stats, all right? Here's Joe Burrow's stats this season. 3,300 yards, 30 touchdowns, 5 picks, 68% completion percentage. Now this, if you want to bring up an example of a quarterback killing it and his team letting him down, it's the Cincinnati Bengals. He's having an MVP season, but he's never going to get it because his team is shitty. His defense sucks. So if we want this, Taylor, would be a much stronger argument if Aaron Rodgers had Joe Burrow stats. And we're having this conversation. Like the Jets are having this record-breaking, historic offense, which was unbelievable, but their defense was a sieve. And we're like, wow, man, if Aaron just had a defense, he would be this. That's not what we're talking about here. Aaron isn't in that category, with all due respect. Which, again, once you say with all due respect, you can then say anything. I mean, like, Burrow has been friggin' awesome, but his team sucks. So, like, they're losing, in spite of all the awesomeness that he's doing. So that's a very different conversation. Aaron has not been that good. Again, and you could point to a variety of statistics to back that point. So yeah, I would push back on trying to divert blame from Aaron Rodgers. He's the quarterback. He's the guy. We said we were a quarterback away, and Aaron was going to solve that issue, and he has not, bluntly. So yeah, man. I just I can't vibe with that. Now, again, I'm all for different opinions, so feel free to send them through. But, yeah. A lot of people are not liking that Aaron Rodgers commentary. Peter Castro says Aaron Rodgers is full of himself and full of shit. Ooh, okay. Touched a nerve there. Yikes. NY Jets FL is happy for conference championship weekend. Yep, NY Jets FL, please enjoy in college football land. Absolutely. Set us up for the college football playoff. This is well said by Man with Rake FL. We bought a lottery ticket. It didn't hit. Move on time. In reference, obviously, to Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, you thought you had a good lottery ticket. You found it between the seat cushions. You're like, oh. Pull off the dust on this thing. Is this thing still good? Oh, my God. Is this say I'm a winner? You turn it in. Sorry. Expired. Jeez. If you would have turned this in like 10 years ago, you had a winner here. But, 2024. Yeah, this ticket's 41 years old. It doesn't expired a while ago, man. And that's the unfortunate reality. I don't blame the Jets. Again, I can't say this enough. This is not hindsight. I don't blame the Jets for making the move, for trying to trade for Aaron Rodgers. That was much better than Derek Carr. Much better. Derek Carr is looking god-awful, okay? So, like, I don't blame the move. I don't go back, oh, why'd we trade for Aaron? What a stupid move. No, I got Aaron Rodgers. I'm all in on Aaron. It is what it is. They tried, failed. And maybe, again, we talked about this before, but maybe the true failure was 2023. My cousin Ray, boop, his Achilles explodes. And then we're like, the chance of doing something awesome was right then in that moment. And then potentially the carryover to 2024. But as soon as the Achilles, and Rodgers had to spend the whole year rehabbing that thing, so a lost year in the universe, and then potential lost explosiveness and things of that nature, perhaps the Jets' dream died that night, MetLife Stadium, Jets-Bills. It's very possible that's what happened. That is very possible that's what happened, unfortunately. Tony Alexio brings up, unfortunately, Rodgers would be a Brett Favre repeat. Rodgers salary and drama ain't worth it. And maybe, so Rodgers seems to indicate he's got more left in the tank, and maybe the Jets don't believe it based on, hey, they're reporting from Ian Rappaport that Rodgers has to finish the season strong to potentially come back, or at least increase his chances of coming back. Hey, let's see it. Aaron seems to suggest, hey, man, you want to move on. And then now he's got this extra motivation, and he goes to some team and has his Brett Favre season that Brett Favre had with the Vikings the year after the Jets. He had great individual success. Again, 33 touchdowns, 7 picks. His stats are ingrained into my mind. And the Vikings made it to the NFC Championship game. Their one stupid-ass Brett Favre throw across his body, which is sort of poetic. That's how it ends. Throw from going to the Super Bowl. So maybe Aaron's going to find a place to do that. I think there are very few teams that fit the billing of everything's great outside of quarterback, the Jet situation basically, but what we perceive to be the Jet situation, but in a different place. I mean, we could have that conversation and see, but I think there are fleeting teams that are going to be in that conversation. Fleeting. Very fleeting. But good comments here. Let me catch back up here. Make sure I get to everybody here. Taylor says the team is failing us, not just Aaron. Yeah, but both are failing. And Aaron is a big part of us failing. Again, I just reiterate, he is not Joe Burrow. He is not killing it, and that everyone else is sucking. Now, the defense is not the elite defense that it was. That's unfortunate. That's bad. The special teams has been inconsistent. That's not great. The big-time players of Breece Halls and Garrett Wilsons and all these guys consistently haven't been able to do it, whether it's them, whether it's play calling, whether it's Aaron, whoever, whatever reason. Dave Brigga says, what's the old sports proverb? Stats are for losers. Well, there you go. We'll see. Aaron will have a chance to prove it, whether or not he thinks he has to, against the Miami Dolphins. We'll see if he has a good showing. And yeah, shout out to the Lions last night. I thought in the NFC Championship game last year, I thought Dan Campbell was far too aggressive. I'm like, dude, like, being aggressive is one thing. Come on. We all love aggression. But, like, it has to be controlled. And Dan Campbell is a wild man. But, boy, I love him saying, hey, man, our offense is going to end this game. We're not going to kick a field goal, give the Packers 30 seconds and change to try to tie this game up. Oh, hell no. We're going to end it right now, or we're going to overtime. And I like them controlling that. Taylor says, I'm not diverting blame. He needs it too. I'm leveling it out to the rest of the team too. You can't. The quarterback position, as I've said, quarterback position is here. Rest of team is here. There is no equal pie. Oh, well, just take a gander. The entire team needs the blame. Well, it's not how it works, pal. Quarterback. Like I said, you take too much of the credit, you take too much of the blame. That's the point. And again, I would fairly say that Aaron, I mean, I would, even if I had a chance to say, hey, Paul, you can evenly blame everyone, I still wouldn't, because Aaron has everything he wanted. He has Alan Lazard. He has Devontae Adams. He has Garrett Wilson. He has Nathaniel Hackett, who he specifically requested. He has Breece Hall. We've got this solid offensive line. We have all of this in front. We have everything Aaron wanted, and it's still not working. That is Aaron's cross to bear, if we're being honest. if we're being honest. So it's not to me even blame. Danny in real life says there's a reason why there wasn't a bidding war for Rodgers. Jets got swindled. They were the only team desperate enough. I don't know if swindled. Like I said, they didn't give up 5 first-round picks that devastated their immediate future. I don't know if I'd say swindled. Gave up a first-round pick swap and a second-round draft choice. You swing and you miss. I'm not. Again, I am disappointed with the result, obviously, but I'm not swindled. I don't know if that's what I would say about that. Yeah, I don't think I'd go there. Oh, yo, Holmes. Oh, he's caping for my dad here. If Jets signed Derek Carr, the team today would have more wins. Simple as that. Well, let me phrase it this way. That might be true because Aaron obviously had no wins to add last year because his Achilles exploded. So, sure, would a Derek Carr-led team have more wins than a Zach Wilson-led team? Okay, probably. So, sure. Yeah, but that's kind of okay. All right. Yo, Holmes, I bow to you. Yes, the Jets would have more wins. But because Aaron didn't get a chance for any last year, I guess technically, I don't know if it's the baseball thing, if the starter gets the equality of the win. I'm not sure if that counts for Aaron because technically he started the game. I think it does, but anywho, that's neither here nor there. Sure. Yeah, Derek Carr would have got more wins on the Zach Wilson team, which would have put them in this position. Yeah, I guess that's true. You got me. Yeah, Burrow is being wasted in Cincy. That's my point. Yeah, I'm sure Derek Carr is going to take the Saints to the Super Bowl. Yeah. And why Jets about would Rodgers go back to the Packers as backup or is it too soon? If Rodgers thinks he has nothing to prove over the final 5 games of the season, then there is no way and he's like look at my resume. Basically is what he said without saying. Like, come on, man. I don't have anything to prove. Hell no. It'll be a cold day in hell if Aaron Rodgers is a backup quarterback. It'll be a cold day in hell. If Aaron realizes that, which is, again, I'm saying this is completely possible. This scenario I'm about to say, completely on the table. Completely on the table. If this season goes whatever way it is, and by the way, my child gave me a ball that I'm just kind of like holding. I don't know. I feel like I'm a hand talker and I got this like child ball that they gave me. My daughter gave me, so I'm just holding it. It's comforting in some way, like a stress ball. But anywho, if Aaron struggles through these final 5 games, or just is what he's been, 180 yards passing, 60 to 55% completion percentage, and like a touchdown or 2. Let's just say that's the finish. There's nothing more than that. It just is what it is. I don't know if teams are going to be, to Danny's point earlier, lining up in a bidding war to acquire Aaron Rodgers. Now, if Aaron finishes it off with a little chutzpah, maybe breaks a 300-yard streak, that seems super important to him. So maybe they'll force feed that in one of these games to get it. He gets a couple of chunk plays and he's able to do it because I think that's possible. Aaron could break this 300-yard drought because right off the beginning of that Seahawks game, he had this 50, 60-yard shot to Garrett. And if he actually hit him instead of underthrowing him, that would have put you in a great spot. And then he does his normal nickel and dime bullshit. Like, there's a way for Aaron to get to 300 and then end that noise because he, during his presser, found it super annoying. Like, it really bothers him. And when things bother him, I think there's a way to do it, and plus pad stats and that sort of thing. So I think there is a path for Aaron to juice some stats here. And like I said, there may be 1 or 2 particular teams that may say, you know what, maybe for giving Aaron a shot as the QB1. But as a backup, I just don't see it. And Frank says, how about this for a stat, 3-9? Well, that's a pretty compelling stat, Frank. A pretty compelling stat. That's for damn sure. That is for damn certain. Yes. It is, like I said, that is a good stat. Let's keep going here. Okay. Josh Allen fan, Allen. That's good to see. And he's a big Lions guy. We know that. That's true. All right. Yeah, I'm excited for Lions fans. Hey, look, a membership, baby, from our number one Austrian Jets fan, baby. You love to friggin' see it. Let me see here for our number one Austrian Jets fan. Let's go. They are now with 11 members. Whoops, sorry about that, folks. Technical difficulties here. Shout out to our number one Austrian Jets fan. Let me try that again. All right, let me see if I can find that. Ah, here we go. There we go, baby. Our number one Austrian Jet fan gifting a membership, baby. Like I said, you love to see it. Beautiful. Our number one Austrian Jet fan with the gifting of a membership, baby, Flight Right 49. And that has been added to your total number one Austrian Jet fan for our emoji and raffle ticket contest. So keep those memberships flowing, people. That's for the rest of the month. Memberships are only $2.99 a month. So make sure you guys join the army, baby. And you always have access to our Discord channel as well. So our number one Austrian Jet fan, we appreciate you, baby. All right, let's go back to the comment section here. We'll also open up the phone lines as well. All right. NY Jets FL says, I can't think of a team offhand that Rodgers could start for. Vikings off the top of my head. I think Sam Darnold's getting a deal from somebody, a 2-3-year deal for Buco Bucks. JJ McCarthy had a second surgery, so he's sort of out of it. So I could totally see it. I could totally see Aaron Rodgers, Vikings, Brett Favre storyline that I could see. And then I'd have to look deeper. Would Rodgers want to play for some shitty team? Because, like, you know, the Raiders, would he want to do that? The Giants, would he want to do that? Would he want to stick it to the Jets by going to the Giants and stay in the same New Jersey home, just play for the Giants, who are going to be desperately looking for a quarterback? So there are some teams I could pull up. Like in a competitive state, Vikings make a lot of sense. But then, like, just a shitty team just to play with somebody, like the Raiders, sure. The Giants, yeah, I guess. The Saints, I don't know how it would work cap-wise, but they may be looking for a quarterback. There's been rumors that they'll cut their Carr. There's a couple of teams off the top of my head that could make sense, sure. Our boy Allen here says, Paul Cuse and Iowa competing for the same quarterback in the portal. Could very well be the case. Syracuse will reveal who they're playing in the bowl on Sunday coming up. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll see who they face off in bowl season. Should be a lot of fun. NY Jetsavell says, I'm not sure if Rabel would come here because of his Patriots past. Well, Rich Zamini says that doesn't matter. If they pick a good GM, he would consider coming here. So we'll see. Juan Wick says Raiders and Giants are drafting a quarterback. From everything we hear, all the quarterbacks need maturation and development. So even if they did, well, Rodgers or some bridge quarterback could step in there. And we got to see who ends up with all the picks, because if there's only two quarterbacks worth drafting then maybe Raiders and Giants aren't in a position to take it as well. All right, let's do this. We have 300 people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe, and again, keep those memberships flowing to enter into the contest, baby. We're going to play a quick hep song, and we'll open up the phone lines, get more of your guys' thoughts here on a Friday. Let's go.
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Talking just football, man. Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. The New York Jets Football Club. Wow. Offense, defense, special teams. Watch the Super Bowl season with Boy Green. J-E-T-S. Jets.
I friggin' love Hep. He always gets me in a better mood, baby. The phone lines are now open. That is the pinned comment on youtube.com/boygreen25. If you'd like to call into today's program, feel free to do so. Amen, brother. It is time. Hit up the phone lines. Let's go. I just saw this comment in here. Is that NY Jets FL? Who just said that? Let me see. Where was that? Someone just said, oh, yeah. The Bill Belichick interviewing for the North Carolina head coaching job and apparently having multiple conversations with them. Huh? What? Who? Huh? What the flying hoot? This guy's never coached in college ever, believe it or not. His father had connections to Navy, but like, what? There's no way they replace Chex Notes 70-year-old ass Mac Brown with Chex Notes 70-year-old ass Bill Belichick? What the flying hoot? Oh my goodness. Can you imagine Bill Belichick dealing with NIL and transfer portal and all that business? I can't either. What the? I don't. Maybe it's to help North Carolina out to raise the profile because everyone is going to write an article. Can you believe Bill Belichick for North Carolina? And on these shows, Bill Belichick, North Carolina. Can you believe that? So maybe it creates a little buzz. So it's kind of a wink between North Carolina and Bill Belichick. I don't know how serious this is, but apparently he's interviewed and had multiple conversations, according to insiders. Like, I don't know, man. I think, let me just be blunt. I think Billy is getting a job from somebody. Some people have rumored Jacksonville. Some people have rumored Bears. I've heard a lot of these rumors. Saints. I've heard everything for Bill Belichick. It sounds like he's getting multiple looks. So it sounds like Billy, if he wants a job, and he certainly appears to want one, in the NFL is going to get one. So I will say that. I feel like he's going to fill one of the vacant head coaching, landing spots. If he goes to North Carolina, I will shit a brick. That would just stun me. He's never been in college to zig when everyone's zagging. He is the and here's why I think it's bullshit. He had the one, he's has all these accomplishments. He has the Super Bowl championships with New England. He's got the Super Bowl rings as a coordinator with the Giants. He has had all this success. The one that is left is Don Shula, man. It's getting the most wins all time as an NFL head coach. And if we're being realistic, it's probably going to take him 2 or 3 years to accomplish that. It's somewhere in the ballpark of like 18 wins or something away, 18, 19, somewhere in there. I don't have it off the top of my head, but he's something like that away. For him to go to college and then basically bypass, because you're going to college, you're not coming back to the NFL at 80. So, like, if he did that, he would be waving the white flag on that, and I don't think so. I think that's far too important. I don't know Bill Belichick, obviously. That appears to be far too important to the man to bypass. So I would be flabbergasted if he did not get an NFL job and that it happened that way. Phil, to enter a contest can only send a super chat. Like I said, baby, that friggin' works. We will do it in that same form or fashion. I'll combine this because technically it's a super chat, so we hear from Zariah Luna.
Wow.
There we go, baby. You have been officially entered into the contest, Phil. We appreciate you. Welcome to the party, baby. Yeah. You are in. So shout out to Phil, baby. You are officially in the contest. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Well done, sir. Well done. It's good to have you. Yeah, I know some people struggle, whether with technology or iPhones or anything of that nature, for some of these, memberships and things and the internet and all these difficult things. So there you go. So, yeah, if you want to you've entered yourself into the emoji contest, Phil. If you'd like to enter into the raffle, that'll be another $10. We're doing it for 5 memberships, and they're $2.99 a piece. 3 times 5, 15. Make it even, Steven, for everybody. So if you'd like to be involved in the raffle giveaway, you can at any point later this month, you can super chat in another $10 to punch your ticket in there from that standpoint. And shout out to everyone that is entered. We have a bunch of people that have raffle tickets from our number one Austrian Jet fan, FL Phil 98. He's in there. He gifted 5 memberships. For Lillian, Big D is 2 raffle tickets. Austrian Jet fan, 2 raffle tickets. AKA Chef Kevin Gilbert's got 3 raffle tickets. So shout out to everybody who's in that contest. Like I said, that will run all the way through the end of the month. So Phil, salute you, sir. Thank you so much. My holy king. Belichick just want to stay home and relax. These people don't. They're freaks. People that are NFL people are just freaks. They're pot committed. They can't rest or relax. It's impossible. It's impossible, apparently. Dave Brigham said, I thought BB would go to a service academy to end his coaching career. That would have been unique and an ode to his father. That would have been very unique. Dakota says Bill Belichick to the Giants makes sense, but that could be too. Sure. There's a history there that would make sense as something. I guess that goes full circle, apparently. That's also possible. All right, let's go back to the phone lines, baby. We got Hep here on the show. What's up, Hep?
Hey, Paul. Hey, fellas. How's it going?
No, not bad.
Good. I've been thinking about it, and I'm wondering as far as the future of the Jets and next year, it doesn't look like there's a lot of real options as far as quarterbacks and things to go. And I'm wondering if it makes sense to keep Rodgers for the other year and give him a shorter leash, of course, with one of the other guys. And perhaps that gives us the best chance, retaining Devontae as well.
Right.
And if we crap out, then we're in the Manning sweepstakes, right?
Exactly. That may be the best way to do it, like I said, because the other quarterback options are not great. And to be honest, some of them just may be wiped off the board. Russell Wilson may not even leave Pittsburgh. Sam Darnold may never want to come back to the Jets, and I wouldn't blame him. That takes off your two top options, and the fact that those are your two top options says a lot more about everything else, too. So, yeah, you may have this awkward dance of like, I don't know, Aaron, and then they look out the door and go, Aaron, not too bad. You know what I mean? Right? The grass is greener. Let me take a gander across the never mind. We can work out our problems here. It could very well work out that way. Sure.
And with an experienced head coach, and we'll look at Rex. I mean, what he did with Mark Sanchez. I mean, that was pretty amazing. I remember Sanchez playing afraid almost his whole career. Like he's like, oh my God, they're coming,
Yeah.
And we still got to the championship,
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, guys, I'll see you on the rebound.
All right, love it, Hep. Thanks for the call. Yeah, here's sad Mark Sanchez times. Do you guys remember this? Mark Sanchez was so fucked in the brain of Okay, I think I'm back. Anywho, but we had this Sanchez. I don't know where I got lost there, but Sanchez got so effed at the end of his career about making a mistake that we had someone on the coaching sideline that flipped up a color cue card to explain to Sanchez whether or not red meant danger, don't have any risk, or green, yeah, take a risk, or yellow, sort of. We had a color cue card on the sideline for a first-round quarterback. What the flying hoot? Yeah, boy. So, hey, man, we've had some moments as Jet fans. That's a long story short, which is it's hard to believe from that standpoint. So, sorry about the screen freeze, everybody. Sorry about the screen freeze there. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. We got Johnny Boy here on the show. What's up, Johnny?
BG, what's going on? Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
Hey, with Mark Sanchez, bro, I love Mark Sanchez on the booth, man.
Yeah.
Dope. I would love if they could do something to where he announces all the Jet games, man.
And that'd be cool. Sure,
that'd be awesome. But the Aaron Rodgers stuff, man. So he essentially is saying that he really doesn't have anything to prove.
That's what he said. Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's wild to me. He has a lot to prove, and also not only to us, the fans, but to himself as well. One of his biggest things was he was talking about he wants to see if he could go and play all 17 games this year and see how he is. And as of right now, he hasn't been playing up to his standards. One of the things that I did want to talk in regards to with Aaron Rodgers, that when people were talking about a Derek Carr or these other players, what are we talking about? And all that, people forget we wanted Aaron here super bad because we supposedly was one quarterback away. He was supposed to come into a freaking team that was supposed to have a top 5 defense. The special teams was the line was going to be a lot better, right? And he was going to have some weapons around him. And all he needed to do was hand off the ball to Breece Hall, who's this monster of a running back, right? And he's going to give you enough plays to get you over that hump, right? Because I mean, if we bring up the stats, right,
Mhm.
he's gonna break some of the Jets
Oh
records.
yeah, if he stays healthy and he's just doing what he's doing, he will default be in the top 5 of almost every major Jets category from a quarterback perspective of all time. That's true.
And the other thing too, with him getting hurt, I mean, people forget going into that Vikings game, he was like in the top 3 as the most hit quarterback and most sacked
Yeah.
quarterback in the league as well. So now I'm not here saying for like Aaron Rodgers and being like, he was just supposed to be this like the Messiah to come in and all that, because that wasn't the case. He was supposed to be just that quarterback that doesn't turn it over, which he hasn't, which normally, right, was him and all that as well. So like uh, next year, I mean, the quarterback list of free agents that are out there, they're not good at all. I mean, the guys that are there that'll be gone pretty quick. I can see a Jameis Winston just because of the big arm.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Why
At
not?
least,
It'll be a
yeah.
fun thing, at least for us to see that. Justin Fields with the Garrett connection, like I said before,
Yeah, sure.
him and Garrett, he's tired of having quarterbacks that he's never played with and has to learn the whole thing all over again.
Mhm.
And but let's be honest, man. Aaron Rodgers is coming back, bro. They're
I
gonna
think
run it
so,
back.
but I don't know.
They're gonna run it back with that dude, and it is what it is. This year for us, I compare it to the Steelers, was supposed to be like the Steelers. The Steelers got that vet quarterback. They were like, he'll do enough for us to get us some dubs and whatnot. But our defense is what's going to really carry everything and all that. And you see what's going on over there. So it's we forget, man, because our fan base, we want it now. We want it as of yesterday. So like it's tough. But I wanted to ask you something real quick.
Well, before you ask me that, we actually have a comment in here, and I wanted you to be able to confirm or deny this. Danny in real life tweeted in, Johnny Boy had a lot less gray hair at the beginning of the season. Don't let the Jets get to you, buddy. Is that true, Johnny?
So Danny in real life, I appreciate you, brother, first and foremost, man. So I did the whole no shave November. If you could tell, my beard is like crazy big right now and all that.
Yeah, quite burly.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll be getting shaved off pretty quickly.
Oh, okay.
But has nothing to do with the Jets season.
Oh, okay.
It has to do with all the kids.
Oh, sure.
BG knows the deal right now because he has a small one.
Yeah.
Oh, well, let me rephrase that. He has a small child.
Oh,
right?
Thank you. I appreciate the clarity. I want to make sure my street cred isn't, turned a certain way. Thank you.
But the Jets do bring out some of the grays too. So he is telling some truth in regards to that.
There you go. I appreciate the honesty there. That's important. Yeah.
But the question I wanted to ask you, right?
Sure.
Or if you saw the report about Ben Johnson, right? And how
which part?
When he came out talking about, he's not going to be chasing interviews.
Oh yeah, I saw that last night. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
What's your take on that? What do you think of him saying those things? And I'll kind of give you my answer real quick and then let you do your thing and whatnot. I liked it. I want a coach that is going to take no crap from the media and needs to be very sure of himself and stuff like that. Because again, I do not want a Saleh presser conference. I do not want an Ulbrich presser conference where we had a great day in practice. We're going to take a hard look again at the tape and stuff like that. I just don't want that. But I wanted to get your take in regards to what you thought.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Johnny. Yeah, I will say for those who missed it, let me actually see if I can pull that up because I think that's a good clip to play here. Let me pull that clip up. That was from Albert Breer last night on the NFL on Prime broadcast, aka Amazon Prime, and he gave an update on Ben Johnson. So. Yeah, we'll play this clip. So hang on tight. We'll get this up here in just a second. I'd love to play the clip that Johnny is referencing from last night, and then I'll respond to it because I think there are two ways potentially to perceive this clip that Albert Breer said on Ben Johnson and his process for how he will approach head coaching interviews this time as opposed to what he did last time. So we'll play the Albert Breer clip here in just a second, and we'll get my thoughts on that. The other thing that I wanted to make sure I highlighted here, which is very important, and then we'll also get back to the phone lines as well. That's, again, youtube.com/boygreen25. That is the pinned comment on YouTube. Let's give a shout out to Phil, baby, who officially entered himself into our raffle with $9.99 more. For raffle, go Jets. Keep doing what you're doing, Paul. Great waking up to Jets talk with the coffee club, baby. So let's play a few things with the super chat.
Wow.
And one of these, baby. There you go. Phil is officially in our raffle contest. Again, you guys could do it one of two ways. If you get 5 Boy Green Coffee Club memberships, that's one way to do it. Or you could just super chat $15. Either way, we'll punch in for a raffle ticket. And there's no limit, so you can get as many raffle tickets as you like. Like I said, it's $15 for each one. And you'll have a chance to win a bunch of awesome prizes from my personal collection. There's going to be some autographed Jets merch in there. There might be some Jets jerseys. There might be some Jets hats. There may be some other extracurricular, obscene, bizarre, like what the Jets items. It's going to be an entire collection plate, and you will be getting your bang for your buck because we want to give back for this holiday season. So shout out to Phil. You have now entered the contest, and many people have, and you guys can continue to do that throughout the entire month of December. So guys, keep that train rolling. Okay, I believe we have this clip real quick that Johnny was asking for. Again, this was Albert Breer on the NFL Prime broadcast last night talking about this. And I'll be honest, like I just said, and again, shout out to Phil, baby. We appreciate you. Yeah, I have a Excel sheet, by the way, behind the scenes, so I'm keeping track of all your guys' gifts, membership gifts, and super chats and donations. So, guys, keep those coming. But no, this Ben Johnson clip, I think, is going to be perceived in one of two ways. One of two ways. Some people are going to perceive it as arrogance, and it's going to rub a lot of people the wrong way, and I saw it did on social media last night. The other is almost, I don't know if respect's the right word, but I guess we can use respect for lack of a better word right now, and how he's approaching this process. And basically, Ben Johnson is going to be very picky on the head coaching search. Before, anyone that basically wanted to interview Ben Johnson is something he was for, and as you will hear just in a second, he will not be chasing these interviews. Here's Albert Breer last night in the pregame show ahead of the Packers-Lions game on NFL on Prime. Here we go.
So, Albert, when you have the success that Detroit's had, other teams will want to raid your coaching staff. What are you hearing on all that?
Well, Ben Johnson's certainly going to be at the top of a lot of lists, but the Lions offensive coordinator is planning on taking a very different approach to this hiring cycle than he has to the last couple. He will not chase interviews. If he takes an interview, it's going to be with the intention of actually pursuing the job. And to that end, he has a couple of criteria. Number one, he'll be looking for organizational alignment, in particular between the GM and the head coach. And then he'll be looking for a recognition from the organization of the things that have gone wrong and a willingness to fix them. And of course, Ben Johnson's not the only name on the Lions coaching staff that's going to garner interest. Defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn's done a great job as well. He's got connections to both the Jets and the Saints.
There's some more to that. He actually says the Jets will have interest in Aaron Glenn. So there you go. We could talk about that perhaps in a separate video show. But here's the thing on the Ben Johnson stuff. It comes off a little like, whoa, Ben, you've never been a head coach before, and you're all like hoity-toity, high and mighty, like, hey, man, you're not interviewing me. I'm interviewing you, and you're going to tell me. But in a certain part, I respect it because Ben Johnson's got a very sexy job right now. He's the OC of the Lions. He is compensated quite well. They just gave him another pay raise. If he doesn't get a head coaching job, he's like, okay, I'll just stay with the Lions and keep winning. And hopefully, in his case, he wants to eventually win a Super Bowl before he goes anywhere else. So that's what he plans on keep doing. So he's going to be very selective, long story short, of who he goes after. But the level of selectiveness has rubbed some people the wrong way because some people say that because jobs have apparently been offered to him, like the Washington job last year apparently was going to be offered to him, and he's like, nah, I'm good. And then eventually teams go, you keep saying, nah, you're good to NFL jobs. Maybe there's something wrong with you and not us. And then it turns into a big thing here. So, things are getting a little spicy there. So long story short, what's my reaction to it? Again, Ben Johnson's got a great job. I don't blame him for being incredibly picky about what he's going to be able to do. But here's the problem. Here's the honest truth, Johnny. Ben Johnson is not a slam dunk great head coach like that he will be a great head coach. It's a mystery. He's never been a head coach before. Some people are better suited in offensive coordinator roles. Some people are great as head coaches. Maybe he's going to be great. Maybe he's going to be shitty. But the fact is he's got so much arrogance and juice for someone that's not a guarantee to be a head coach. I think that may make some teams think twice. We'll see if the right job apparently comes available. And basically what Albert Breer said is if he we get a report from me and Rappaport, Ben Johnson is interviewing with the Bears. According to how Albert Breer said it, if he's interviewing with a team like the Bears or the Jets or anybody, his intent is to be the head coach for that team. So he's only doing it because he's serious. So if we see interviews, again, according to Albert Breer's reporting, who's a great reporter, I'd love to have him on the show one day. It sounds like that's going to get very serious very quick, and we'll see if that interest is there for both sides. All right, let's go back to the phone lines, baby. We got our boy, a cup of Philly noodles here on the show. What's up, Philly?
Hey, what's going on, dude?
Hey, what's poppin'?
Not much. So, yeah, real quick about that.
Yeah.
Man, he can get blackballed real quick, right? Like, no, this
100%. Yeah.
Jerry Jones is already saying, see it.
Yeah, like, fuck you, buddy. 100%. A lot of teams, I think, are going to look at that and go, who the fuck are you, pal?
Yeah. Let him win the Super Bowl if he can get it, and then he gets more street credibility that way.
For sure.
You never been. That's why it's like the Jets. We don't want a guy who's never been a coach. You can say everything you want. Like, I don't want
100%.
Arthur Smith because his first go around wasn't that good. He's a good offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
That's what he's proven. He's a great one. Stay where you're at, and if you come, then bring Justin Fields. But
there you go. Yeah.
So I just wanted to touch on the Aaron Rodgers thing. So I wrote in the private chat real quick. Honestly, I'm gonna break down a little bit of my personal life since I came to North Carolina.
Sure.
It's like with a landlord that you're not sure you want to keep, right? So I came down here. We leased a place. It's in the hood. It was all right. Nothing gone wrong. So we're like, well, a little hesitant, but we signed up for the second year. Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles. It's not his fault. We'll do the second run.
Yeah.
Right into my lease, a bullet went through my house.
Jesus.
Through my son's room, who's never been here since the bullet went through because he doesn't live with me full time.
Yeah.
So I never had him back in the house, right? I'm like, never happening again.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? Aaron, oh my God, what happened to this season? I don't want you back again, bro. But guess what? I already signed the lease, so I was stuck with him. So I was stuck with this place. So now this next go around is this winter. I have a chance to re-sign a lease. Guess what, buddy?
Mm-hmm.
They said, hey, are you going to sign this lease now early? Or we said, we're going to exercise our options, me and my fiance. So Aaron is saying what he's saying. I got nothing to prove because, okay, buddy, guess what? We can exercise our options. That's where we're at. That's how I relate it to my personal life. It's like, dude, we're at the point where, guess what? I don't know who wants you, buddy.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
So we could just roll with you because a GM and a head coach says, all right, well, you're here. Maybe you are the best option. But honestly, as a Jets fandom, we know, like Johnny explained, why we went the way we did with Aaron. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Got to move forward. You got to turn the page, next chapter. Because no matter what he's going to say, no matter what everybody has to say, this offensive line has been a 5 in pressure rate allowed for the majority of the season, which means a competent quarterback with enough mobility should be clean in that pocket.
Yes.
If I took Jared Goff and put him in our system, I'm sure he would have hit a lot more clean passes.
No doubt.
Purdy would have been able to do the same. I can name a slew of quarterbacks that should have been able to and could do it. So to me, it's the fact that if Aaron was compensating for injury with his mouth, that's a problem. And we don't need that because he's already been a problem. And little tidbit, I mean, this would be something to say. I've been at the bar here in North Carolina, a little bar that Garrett Wilson's father frequents.
Oh, that's cool.
And I had spoken to him one-on-one real quick. And this gentleman said, hey, I'm his father. And I was like, oh, I said, I found out. I didn't want to press it. He said, thank you. But he goes, hey, I can tell you, I mean, my son respects him, but man, he said he changes everything at the line, man, everything. He changes everything. He says, these guys don't know what they're going with almost every other down. He said, at practice, he does whatever he wants. It gives you that feeling that if that's coming from our best receiver's mouth,
Yeah.
I can't have another year of what system comes in anyway, because Hackett's gone, right?
No doubt.
Comes in
100%.
Come on.
Right. If the very small possibility happens, or whatever possibility, some people feel it's larger than others, but if Aaron comes back, Hackett's gone, Downing's gone, like the whole thing's getting cleaned out, absent Rodgers, basically, and the new regime's coming in. Like, will an old dog learn a new trick? Aaron has kind of left the door open, like, oh, I love this staff, but I don't have to, like, I'm not 100% tied to them. If they clean out the staff, that doesn't guarantee that that I'm gone, even though that's not his choice. So he's left that door open. We'll see if that's really true or if that's just noise. Because, because if he just says, oh, I'm with the staff, if they're gone, I'm gone, then as soon as the staff is fired on Black Monday, completely clean, he's like, shit, see ya, peace, it's over. So he leaves the door open by saying, oh, no, I'd be open.
And to me, it's like, okay, let's say he's open to it. What system are you open to? He said in an interview, oh, my high school, my this. He had brought up a few different systems he played in, but I was like, dude, it was the same kind of style of offense, bro.
Yeah.
It didn't
outside
change.
of his Wing T high school example, which I don't know if that counts,
Yeah, and it's not like you're going to get on the snap and give us 2 yards for a first down. You're not going to pull an Allen. You're not going to pull a Lamar Jackson. You're not going to – none of that. Like, we need to move forward with the NFL, and that's the thing. The signature of the Jets has always been the defense. The offense has never had anything. So move forward. Do us all a favor, figure it out, go get us an offensive guru who says, you know what, give me Jalen Milroe and a proven backup starter for the first half of the season, then give me him, or give me him the second year after he waits a year. Give me Justin Fields and Milroe. Create a duality where, if you can do both if Arthur Smith gets an interview, or give me just give me something else. But you gotta have the offensive move. I like the kid Dylan Gabriel out of Oregon.
Oh, Oregon kid, yeah.
Yeah, and I've gotten some criticism over the other channels about it because to me, I look at it as he's Russell Wilson.
Ooh,
same stature, lefty, so it's kind of like Tua. But if I compare him to any of those guys in Kyler because of his legs, man, those are all 3 good quarterbacks. His stature, he's small. I don't care. I used to care about that. I don't care. I've seen smaller guys get it done. I've seen Bryce Young look better recently.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? It takes
Drew Brees is a smaller guy. There's smaller guys that have done okay.
Yeah, and not to take up all the time, but yeah, this kid's 24, which means he's like a Michael Penix. You take him second, third round. You put in Tyrod or whoever you want.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they start shitting the bed or you feel comfortable with Dylan Gabriel, put him in. If the defense is cooking, I'm telling you, Dylan Gabriel.
Well, I would just say you were the first person that's brought up Dylan Gabriel. So if and when that happens with the Jets, you are getting full credit, my friend, as the Dylan Gabriel truther here.
I'm telling you, ask Pete Carroll. I guarantee if Pete came in here, he'd be like, "Give me that guy. Reminds me of Russell Wilson."
Okay.
Get that guy chewing a wad of gum. You know what I mean?
I love that. Philly, thanks for the call, brother.
Sir. Thank you.
All right. Wow. A bullet through his house? Good Lord. Might want to consider moving. I don't know that you better exercise every other option on the table. Good Lord, have mercy. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. You got a lot of calls here. Let's go to MJ. You're back on the show. What's up, MJ?
Hey, good morning. How are you doing,
welcome
Paul?
back. Yeah, you're doing great. Thanks for coming back on.
Hey, I enjoyed last time, but I kind of thought, because I'm in Dallas, and with the Cowboys, we get the primetime game, just about every week, even though we're under 500, and we see a lot of Tom Brady. And I tell you, I don't know if you watched, but I tell you, Greg Olson is like 1,000 times better. I mean, for them, I understand why they did it, but Tom Brady, man, he is. And the funny thing is when he's on Colin Cowherd or he's on other shows, he's really good. He brings out really good information, but somehow on the football games, on the telecast, it just doesn't come out. What is your thought of him and his commentating?
Yeah, I would say I'll be so me and my radio. I wouldn't call it a bet, but me and my radio partner, who I'll go to the show with after this show, he thought Tom Brady was going to be awful
Mm-hmm.
before like anything, before we've seen anything. Just that it was reported that
Mm-hmm.
he was going to take over, and my radio partner thought he was going to be awful. And I said I think Tom Brady's going to be great because, like, man, he's been through every scenario. I hate Tom Brady's guts
Yes.
as a Jets fan, but boy, he's been through everything. He was a backup. He was a 12 string. He was out for the season.
Mm-hmm.
He explored free agency and jumped to a new team. So he could talk about that angle. He could talk about being the underdog. He could talk about being the champion. He could talk about the dynasties, when
Yeah.
Chiefs conversation. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
as much as I hate his guts, like, man, he should be a wealth of information to call. And then the
Mm-hmm.
footballese, he's friggin' Tom Brady. He's won 7 Super Bowls. He knows all kinds of different systems and communication and
Yeah.
relationships with players. So I thought he was going to be amazing, like Tony Romo beyond. Now, if I'm being honest,
Right.
it has definitely not been the Tony Romo experience. Now, what I'm trying to figure out myself is what's a good sample size of Tom Brady to realize, oh, he either has it or he doesn't. And I'm not so
Yeah.
sure. Is it a full season? Is it a handful of games? Should we know immediately? Should it just be like you open up a drink, you take a sip, you're like, oh, this tastes like this. I don't like this. Or you take a sip, you're like, wow, that's pretty tasty. I didn't know what that was going to taste like, and that tastes pretty good. So I still haven't even been able to answer it myself. And it's probably because I'm on that side that I thought he was going to be good. So I'm like, let's just more time. It's still this. So he's had, from the very beginning, there's a lot of social awkwardness. I don't know why that is. I would imagine Tom Brady's been a very popular guy for
Right.
most of his life. So it's very weird. Like
Yeah.
Kevin Burkhardt will like give him a joke, and then Tom Brady's like a robot and goes, ah, ha, 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 ha. And I'm like, that's very weird. And just like normal communication. And then like when he refuses to go into his very deep pool of wealth of football knowledge, he just goes, man, that was
Mm-hmm.
awesome, man. That was awesome. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. The one credit I will give him that he has not been afraid to do, whether I've agreed with his takes or not, is he is willing to rip
Mm-hmm.
the cord. Like the Daniel Jones thing, I don't know. If I was in Daniel Jones' position, I
Yeah.
don't think I would have quit on my team. Basically, I was like, whoa, okay, he's going to have some opinions. Sometimes that's where players struggle, like the Troy Aikmans of the world and others. When they
Right.
had their playing careers and they came over immediately, they're like, oh, God, I play with that guy. Ah, shit, that's my best friend's friend's friend. I can't say that about him.
Uh-huh.
Like Tom Brady's had zero hesitation to rip into people and say they suck. So that part's been good. But overall, yeah, there's a lot left to be desired.
I tell you, just no personality. And the thing with Greg Olson is that he tells me things I don't already know. I mean,
Yeah.
he gives me insight that, and I'm pretty knowledgeable, with football, because I've
Sure.
watched it for years and years.
Mhm.
The thing about Troy Aikman, I mean, of course, I love that, he won 3 Super Bowls for us, with the
Of course.
Cowboys. But
Yeah, right.
when I saw him commentating, he was the same way. Now he's gotten better. But
Yes.
when he was on Fox with Buck, he never said anything I didn't already know. He would say the most obvious shit about, this is really important third down. If they don't get this, if they get a field, I'm like, yes, everybody in the fucking world knows that. Tell me something, Troy, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay?
I
Don't
would say
quit
the
stating-
superpower for Greg Olson to jump in is I would say the superpower for Greg Olson is he seems to explain complicated football things in layman's terms. Like we're at
Yes.
the bar and we're all sitting there and then some people will drown you with, oh, this is a cover 4 press man look with the zone rover coming off the left side, and he'll go, yeah, that's a bunch of kerfluffle. What's going to happen is just this, and he just has a very unique, gentle way of explaining. You're like, oh, okay. I'm a smarter football person from having listened to a Greg Olson broadcast today
Yes.
than I was yesterday. So, yeah, it's a gift. That's for sure. And again, same sort of way, right? We're like, oh, man, how much time do I need to evaluate Tom Brady? I didn't need any time to evaluate Greg Olson immediately to go, whoa. And he did it as a player. He got a special
yeah.
pass because, like, players in the locker rooms that could have been perceived in a lot of ways with, like, there could be cheating involved with him being in player because pre-production meetings, not to go too deep into the weeds, but pre-production meetings, the other teams spill their guts on the table, and for an active player, that could have caused some potential issues. But he got his opportunity when he was still playing in a very unique scenario, and yeah, you knew Greg Olson was a hit immediately.
Oh, and he made the most salient point. I forget what game it was, but the Cowboys were playing, and he did the Cowboys game, and fucking McCarthy always does these in-round sweeps of the receiver,
Yeah.
and they never seem to work. And he said, yeah, you don't do it when the defensive line guy is standing up, because he can see the play. He can see it's an end sweep. You do it when they've got their, their hands on the ground, and just something as simple as that. Matter of fact, when McCarthy did that on the 4th down, and they got stuck, he just threw his thing down, and immediately he called out that was the worst play call, because you don't call that play when the guy's standing straight up, because he can see exactly what's going to happen. And guess what? He's the guy who made the play. And just
That's
stuff
cool.
like that I never heard. And so now every time I see an end sweep, I'm looking, are they doing it with against a guy, that, is doing that, standing upright? It's not usually going to work. If he's down, then it's going to be a really good play, so just stuff like that. I really, saw that. I want to ask you this. What is
Yeah.
your thought of Diana Racina, or whatever?
Oh, yeah,
The
Diana
reporter who's
Rossini.
always
Yeah, I got you. The Athletic. Yep,
Racina.
go ahead.
I mean, because it's like, she's also on like Colin Cowherd show and some of the Fox
Yeah, she's
shows,
got some TV
and
relationships, yeah.
there's been some rumors about her, and of course she was, with ESPN. I don't know if she was fired from ESPN or if she moved to the Athletic or whatever, but she's got all these tabloid type stuff,
Yeah.
these reportings that, and I wonder what people in New York thought of her, because some of the stuff that, I obviously I think she has access to some stuff, but I'm wondering if it's
Definitely.
almost kind of like National Enquirer type stuff that she's reporting, or is it valid? Can you really take it, or is it with a grain of salt since it's coming from Rossini?
That's a good point. And MJ, thanks for the call, brother, and I appreciate it. I hope you call back again in the future. Yeah, here's how I handle most reporters. And Diana Rossini is a national reporter. And by the way, from everything we understand, she left ESPN of her own accord for what she perceived as a better opportunity for the Athletic. Although everyone can report, I guess, what they want, right? Like if I leave a place, I'm like, yeah, it was my choice. Yeah, it was a choice, but not your choice. But in this particular case, I believe that was her choice to leave ESPN. I think they wanted her back and offered her an extension, and then she decided to go to the Athletic because she wanted to do some of the podcasts and all this other stuff that they were going to allow her to do. Here's how I feel about reporters. My default setting is to believe reporters that they do all this great background work and insights, and she obviously has sources. She's broken all kinds of stories before, so and there's all kinds of certain sites or ESPN or Athletics or place you work for that vet your sources, like even for heavy. So I don't have a lot of sources. I don't like break stories left and right, but every once in a while I've gotten a little nugget. And when I do, my place of business, heavy, they vet who I talk to. And so if I say something in an article like, hey, man, this coach told me this former player told me this executive told me this, they vet it out and say, hey, man, we need to confirm what you're saying here. You can't just say, like someone could just make up, yeah, I just talked to insider blah, blah, blue. And in reality, you talk to no one and just write that in a piece. Like that stuff has to be vetted by most places that you work for of some level of credibility. And, the Athletic has, from what a lot of people say, very strenuous vetting processes for that, which has given credence to some of the stories. What I think has really happened here, and I know a lot of Jet fans do not like Diana Rossini, I think her problem is that there is a lot of what's the best way to put this? Over exaggeration. So, like, for instance, in the Athletic report that they dropped, that was a bombshell of like Woody wanted Aaron Rodgers benched and this or that. I read that and go, whoa, Woody Johnson wanted Aaron Rodgers benched in week 5? What the hell? Whoa, massive story. Then I hear Diana Rossini and Zach Rosenblatt, they're doing other interviews in the market to promote the article. And then apparently Diana Rossini says, well, he wanted him benched because he was hurt. He wanted him to get healthy. And then I'm like, well, that's sort of disingenuous because in the report article, it seemed to suggest that Woody wanted him benched because he played like shit. But now he wanted him benched to get him healthy. Well, that's a much different perspective. And then that's where people get on top of Diana and go, what the fuck? So that's a long way and short of saying it, that like I think her problem is, specifically to me, maybe there's more problems than this, but I think there's some over exaggeration. I think there's some cherry picking on things to try to collect a bunch of things as a pile of things. For instance, we heard about the Bryce Huff thing, that Woody vetoed the contract and all this other stuff from everyone we're talking to. It all sounds like there's just kind of a bunch of stuff kind of piled up, and then over-exaggerated parts that paint different stories. So, some people have agendas and things of that nature, and that's a much larger conversation, I guess, for a different day. All right, let's head back to the phone lines. We've got Alan here on the show. What's up, Alan?
Good morning, Paul. How are you? First of all, let me piggyback on what MJ said about
Sure.
Greg Olson.
Oh yeah.
I've had the pleasure of having a couple of one-on-one conversations with him.
Oh nice.
I used to umpire his kids' games in
That's
Charlotte.
cool.
One of the nicest guys in the world, really intense, but just a genuinely great guy. And again, he's phenomenal at what he does. I also respect him because I remember umpiring his games and there were just hot moms just surrounding the field,
Yeah.
just like dying to get his number. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Okay.
That's amazing.
But he's just a great guy, and I think Fox made the mistake, but I understand why they did it. They wanted a name, and that's Tom Brady. But to me, Greg Olson is 50 times the better broadcaster than Tom
Hey,
Brady.
and shout out to Greg. He could have said Fox blow me when they said, "Hey, you're going from number 1 to number 3 or wherever he is now in the pecking order." He could have told them blow me and gotten bought out by insert other place to be their number 1 broadcast. He could have jumped and he didn't. And I've heard him talk about that publicly, like saying, "Hey, man, I'm a team player and things of that nature." Like he still wants all the greatness of the number 1 team and stuff. He's not conceding that, but he's willing to be a team player for a prior decision. So
And
yeah.
And trust me, when a number 1 color commentator position gets open, he will get that job, whether
I
it's
would
at
imagine so.
Fox or
Yeah.
whether it's at ABC, ESPN, CBS, whatever.
Yeah. I think so.
As far as my coaching crush, Ben Johnson, to
Yeah.
me, arrogance is awesome. Okay. I love that story. And to me, when I think about Ben Johnson and I'm
Mhm.
looking at the 2025 coaching positions that might be available,
Mhm.
there's only one that really fits him, and that's Chicago. So I think
Chicago. Oh wow.
Chicago is the only one that makes sense for Ben
I
Johnson.
heard who was it? Oh my god, I'm gonna mess up the name now. Oh my god. I'm so sorry for the person, but you guys can look this up after. Daniel Jeremiah just hit me.
Okay.
He said Ben Johnson should hold out for the Bengals job because Zach Taylor is going to implode like in a year or two. Like some of his prognostication of what he think could happen, and they said that's the job. You get paired up with a youngish. I don't know how old Joe Burrow is now because like he had a long road in college. So let me see. Joe Burrow is 27 and he turns 28 in a couple days. So I guess by the time that job comes open, he'll be 29, 30 maybe. So that was the one that he circled. Daniel Jeremiah of plays for old Ben Johnson if he's super patient.
I don't know. If that job is available, they would be number 1. I totally agree. Joe Burrow is a top 3 quarterback playing for a shitty organization right now. But if you're talking about the jobs that are currently available, Chicago's the only one that makes sense. They have a young quarterback. They have talent around him. Obviously, they were coached by a nincompoop in Matt Eberflus. So they just need to have a quarterback get in the room with Caleb Williams and really mold him into the quarterback they expect him to be. And I think Ben Johnson understands with that story, getting it out there, he's not going to play games. He's not going to play footsie with other organizations, knowing that that's the only job that makes sense for him. My final comment is about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
They're 3-9.
Yeah.
He's coming across as I'm the greatest shit on the planet on his in his interviews.
Yes.
If
Yeah.
it wasn't for the Jets, if it was any other organization and they were 3-9, and you listen to some of his arrogance coming out, most organizations would say, you know what, fuck this shit. I'm cutting him and I'm getting him out of the organization. I'm finishing up with Tyrod Taylor and Adrian Martinez, and I'll look at my quarterback position going forward. The idea that Aaron Rodgers is still the quarterback of the Jets, knowing that they have no chance of making the playoffs, they're 6 games under 500 with 5 games remaining, is a testament to why the Jets organization is a joke. Okay. There is no reason why he is still here. I don't understand it. I'm not saying you should bench him. Benching him serves no purpose. You just need to get him out of the building. Okay. Let him sail on to the sunset, cut him, take the full $49 million hits, and move on. I just don't understand the idea of bringing him back week after week and having these conversations where you know he has zero respect for the media. And honestly, he has zero respect for the organization. Okay. If you listen to his comments, he's like, I have a ring. I have a legacy. All these motherfuckers I don't give a shit about any of these guys. Okay.
Yeah.
The idea that the Jets are allowing him to speak freely is just laughable. And that's why people look at the Jet organization from the outside and they're like, no wonder they're a loser organization. I'm just trying to be honest. I know I get shit here because I say, oh, I'm so anti-Jet and this and that, but you just look at it throughout the whole spectrum and you're like, why is he still here? I don't understand it. There's no reason he's not coming back next year. Okay. And if they bring him back, then they're not a serious organization. Okay. That's the bottom line. Why let him speak? It's over. They're 3-9. He's blew 5-6 opportunities down the stretch when he could have won the game on his shoulders, and he's thrown picks and he's missed on fourth downs. He's taken stupid sacks. But the idea that they're allowing him to speak freely in these press conferences means that there's something going on up above where Woody is just petrified of just telling Aaron Rodgers to shut up and cut him. That's the bottom line.
We actually got a few comments in here. Mid_Hyoka says, so Rodgers' arrogance is not okay since you like Ben Johnson's arrogance. Care you to respond?
What arrogance should Aaron Rodgers have in 2024 with this organization? If Aaron Rodgers is not a Packer anymore, Aaron Rodgers is a 3-9 quarterback for the Jets. Ben Johnson has won the last couple of years in Detroit. He has a right to be arrogant. He knows he could pick his job. Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion, the next opportunity he'll have, he can go work for RFK at HHS. That's the perfect opportunity for him. And I love Aaron Rodgers. I loved his arrogance in Green Bay. But again, he came here, he got hurt 4 plays into last season, and he looks like a washed quarterback. There's no reason for him to be arrogant anymore. It's over. I don't understand the idea that he's getting this forum speaking out like his shit don't stink. You know what? You're 3-9. Your shit stinks real bad. Okay? That's the bottom line. I don't understand the idea of them allowing him to speak, knowing that 95% chance he will not be here next year.
No, 95% chance. That sounds about right. We'll see.
Okay. I appreciate it. And the quarterback that Syracuse and Iowa they're looking at, his name is Connor Weigman.
Who's he from?
Quarterback from Texas A&M.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and I heard, man, there's a lot of kids coming out. The USC kids coming out. There's a few
also
others.
Looking at Iowa as well. Miller Moss,
interesting.
absolutely.
All right.
But Connor Weigman is the guy that's been associated with both Syracuse and Iowa. But again, Aaron Rodgers should not even sit the bench. He should get his walking papers. That's the bottom line. No more arrogance for a 3-9 quarterback. It's over. Have a good one, Boy Green.
There he is, Alan, joining us here on the show. We have a lot more callers, but unfortunately, I got to run to the radio station, everybody. So we'll be back tomorrow morning for Boy Green Daily. So we'll see you guys then. God bless. Take care. Like the video. Hit subscribe. We'll see you next time.